Hi there, this is Amanda Frankel with our Crafty Playdate, and today we are going to be making this very easy but high impact Christmas card. I don't know if you can see, but this is sparkly. Can see if I can get in a little bit of an angle here where you can see. It's kind of glittery. You can kind of see it. Okay, well, I'm going to teach you how to make that glittery effect today, and I'm going to teach you a very super cool feature of our Stamparatus so that you can make this background. But let's get started. Okay, so we are going to start with our Whisper White cardstock, and this is just a standard card base. So let's go ahead and fold that. And I'm going to list the item numbers and the measurements here so that you can follow along, and if you love something, you know where to get it. I'm going to change my camera angle just a little bit here. This is actually just a board that I put here, otherwise you would see my crazy tabletop. Okay, so we've got that done, and we are going to stamp directly on that base. So this is the piece that we're going to be using, the stamp set that we're going to be using. This is Stylish Christmas, and we're using the piece from this stamp set right here. And then we are also using the Winter Woods stamp set. We're using this image right here and this image right here. This does have a set of framelits that go with it and bundle. This does not. This is just a standalone stamp set. This one does have framelits that go with it that you can bundle, and they're great. It even has a tree that actually has little pop-up pieces to it, so you definitely want to check out the whole bundle. But when you see this card, everybody has oohed and awed over it in class, so I think you're going to enjoy it. All right, so we are going to stamp with the piece, and I've just got that mounted on a block. We're only using one color of ink, so this is a super easy card and also a very, very super quick card for you to reproduce. So I don't remember if I told you the name of the gray. It's not gray granite, if that's what I said. It is smoky slate. Hopefully I did that right. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Actually, let's go ahead and do this panel first. Well, I'm lying. Let's do this tree part first. All right, so that is on Whisper White cardstock too, and it is not a square piece. It is actually a rectangle, and I will post the sizes here. I just don't have my grid paper here, so I can't do that for you right now to measure it out. And we are using, as I said, smoky slate, and this is a red rubber stamp, so I don't really need a mat under it. Generally speaking, I'm going to have one of my grid papers under it, but I don't know where I put them. So I'm just going to ink this up, and sometimes if it's a big stamp, I may lay it down and bring the ink to it so then I can really see how inky I got it. All right, so there is my stamp. I'm going to stamp down, and then I'm going to hold it to the count of 3. All right, just get it in there. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. It's less intense than this one only because I had just inked my pad when I did that one. But I like this super detail in this card. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make this sparkly, because this is just your basic Whisper White cardstock. So we are going to make it glittery. This is Frost White. I'm going to shake that up. You hear the little ball in there. This is Frost White Shimmer ink, and it is fabulous shimmer paint. If you don't have some of this, you need it. This little bottle, I've been with Stampin' Up! For 7.5 years, and this little bottle is my original bottle. And we had it, and then we retired it for a while, but popular demand, we brought it back. And that's how I made this glittery, but watch how easy it is. I just took a little squirt bottle, and I use a lot of this. I use it in classes and stuff, so I'm going to use a bigger squirt bottle. But if you're just going to do like 3 or 4 cards, and this will last a long time, you could use these little spritzers. I'm going to see if I can get this open. Stampin' Up! Sells these little spritzers. They're in the normal annual catalog. And it's just a little spray bottle. You could put it right in here, and then you can just spray it on your card like that. Those are so super handy to spray ink. But because I use so much of this, I'm going to go ahead and make a bigger batch. Okay, so I've shaken this paint up, got the ball to move around in there. I'm going to open it. Okay, as I told you, I've had this for eons, so and I haven't had to make any for a while because it lasts me for a while. But I'm just going to put a couple of drops. Here, let me see if I can get into the camera frame here. couple of drops in there. Didn't do too much. And then put the lid on right away. Now look I still have a ton in there. You can do all kinds of cool things with this, and maybe I'll make more videos later, but right now we're just making the spritz for you to see how it's done. And then I'm just gonna use regular old alcohol, rubbing alcohol, okay? And then you just pour it in to you probably don't wanna do this, by the way, over something you just made. Just in case you drop it, like I just sprayed rubbing alcohol. Okay, so I've added rubbing alcohol. Everybody is going to ask me, you can go ahead and email me and ask me the proportions, but you saw how specifically I measured that out, right? It was really scientific. I'm going to put that back on here. The important thing to remember when you're making a shimmer paint mixture like this is do not shake it to mix it now. You just want to swirl it. If you shake it up really hard, when you go to spray it, you are going to get air bubbles. All right. So I'm going to just do a couple. I've wiggled it around quite a bit. Little centrifuge here. I'm just going to spray it out in space so that we can all look like a disco queen. Look, I'm going to spray some on my hands so you can see. You might be able to see a little bit on my shirt here. The rubbing alcohol makes it evaporate quickly, and the sparkle just stays. So can you see that? Super gorgeous. All right. All right. So I am going to now hold this right about here. I'm going to move my other stuff and spray it. I kind of generally do it out in space a little bit. The reason that I stamped my trees first, now this is all going to be glittery, beautiful. The reason that I stamped my trees first and then spritzed it as opposed to spritzing the paper and then waiting and then stamping is I don't want to potentially contaminate my whole ink pad, my gray ink pad, with the sparkle, even though I love it. So I stamped first so that I'm not potentially stamping one, making a second one, taking my stamp and then putting it in here and getting the sparkle from the paper into my ink pad. Okay, so I just protected my ink pad. Plus, there is an opportunity, a little bit of an opportunity. Can you see how it definitely curls up. You see how shiny that is? It definitely curls up, but that's only because it's wet. As it dries, it's going to flatten back out, and we're going to use dimensionals to help it make it do that. But because it got a little wet, as it should with the rubbing alcohol, that will evaporate off, there is a chance that some of that ink is going to run a little bit. And I actually would be okay with that, right? Because then it would just look like a frosty evening. We're going to put that right up there. I'll put it where you can still kind of see it. And I will go ahead and do the next part here while we're waiting. All right. This is a piece of smoky slate cardstock. The measurements will be also below. And I'm going to bring in my Stamparatus. Okay, so we are using this birch image here. And if I wanted to, on my card, where did I put it? Here we go. If I wanted to, on my card, just try and stamp these, you know, image after image, it's only 3 wide, right? So if I just wanted to stamp these in a line, eventually I would twist a little bit, I'd turn at an angle, and I'd be stamping, and all of a sudden they would be all crazy. Stamparatus saves me from myself a little bit. So I am going to use this. This paper is not the new grid paper. This paper is just my grid paper. I've marked on my Stamparatus paper where I would want this to be. It's going to be right there. All right. And now I can stamp. So my stamp is already hooked up on here. You can see that right there. And so we can go ahead and stamp. So I'm going to ink it up with my smoky slate. It's going to be kind of faint because remember this is the less inked version. I'm going to press it down, give it a 1, 2, 3. I'm going to lift this out and then straight up and move it 1 click over. Did you see how I did that? So cool. Ink it again and stamp. 1, 2, 3. Lift it up. Move it 1 click over. I'm just moving 1 joint over every time. I don't have to move my stamp. This works really well for stamps that are about 1 inch wide. So if you wanted to do happy birthday in a bunch of different rainbow colors, this is kind of the way you would do it. And look at that. They're perfect. Every one of them. They're perfectly spaced, perfectly straight up and down. 1, 2, 3. Almost done here, guys. There we go. Ink that one up. I think this is my last set, is it? Maybe not. Okay, and I'm going to go straight down. 1, 2, 3. And I'm probably going to get one more tree in here. So let me do this. If you are going to mass produce cards like this, when you get your Stamparatus, do yourself a favor and order this extra paper. When you order this paper pad that just came out, you can mark, like I did. I made these little hash marks. You can mark on your paper exactly where you're going to want it to land. All right, so that when you go to put your next one in there, if I'm going to make another one, I would just pull this out and set it aside. Next, I would take a new fresh one and I would know right where to put it. Okay, but I don't need to do that because I'm only making one for you today. All right, and I'm going to set that aside. I clean that up with just some Stampin' Mist, just like I would normally do. See how that's starting to flatten out, and you can really see the sheen now. See that? Gorgeous. Okay, this is going to go on here, and I am going to use some dimensionals. And because it's dry now, but because it was once wet, it is going to be a little like warpy, a little bit. So I'm going to be bold. Be bold. I'm giving you permission to use a lot of dimensionals. Of course, I only have my little guys over here, but I have all my edges. So let's do this. So here's one. We're going to use at least 5 dimensionals. Here's one. So that would be 2. And I'm going to use some of my edges. Oh, here's 1, 3. Look how lucky I'm getting. 3. Oh, rather than do 4 and 5, why don't I just do this? Okay, so that's pretty good. I might stick one more little half-C dude down here in the corner. Okay, so you can use all your parts of your dimensionals. They are all perfectly made for this. They are just cut in these little hexagons, but all those edges are usable space, and they work great under strips of things. If you have a strip sentiment or something like that, it works great. Okay, and we're going to continue on here just by eyeballing that in the middle. That look good to you? A little lower? All right, thanks for the shout out there. Okay, so now we've got this panel made. We'll bring our card base back in here. And I want to put the piece on there. I'm just going to lay this down so I can kind of see where my piece is going to go. This is a Claremont stamp, so I don't need my mat again. Photopolymer, you kind of want to use a mat. But this one, I really don't need to. And I'm just going to eyeball it and put it right down here. 1, 2, 3, lift. Good, I'm glad I didn't do that upside down. That would have been seriously embarrassing, right? And then I am going to use some of these. These are our metallic pearls. They come in a pack that has the silver and a pack of gold, all in one thing. I'm just going to set these down. And here's a little trick for you. When you go to put these on your card, you know, I want 3 here. I'm going to put my first one on my finger. Look how sparkly I am. I am so sparkly. All right. All right. So I'm going to pick one of these up here. I'm going to pop all of them loose is what I'm going to do instead. Look at him. I'm so sparkly. All right. All right. Let's do this. Holy cow. This is our new tool and it works awesome. It's a user error, not a tool error. Okay. There we go. I would put my first one down here. Oh, for goodness sakes. Let's start fresh. Okay. Hey, here are these pearls. I'm going to scoop one up. There we go. I'm going to put one down here. I'm going to put my first one there. And instead of just going in a line, like 1, put 2 down, I'm going to put my third one down. And by doing that, I know exactly where I'm going to want my second one to go. I don't have to worry about trying to figure out, oh my gosh, I put them too close together and now they don't cover the whole word. I can kind of just arrange them because I know where first and third are. I can find the middle very easily. So that is a super cool craft hack for you. And this tool is cool. Again, user error, not tool error. Okie dokie. All right, so now all I have to do is glue this down and this card is done. And it is a super fast card. It took me less than 15 minutes to make it. And that included making my mist from scratch for you. Oh my gosh, if you've been watching videos of mine today, you're going to crack up because these glues. I used them in class last night. And when people get busy, they kind of leave the lid off for a few seconds and then they start to do something, and I need to unglue, unstickify all these. But in the meantime, we're just going to keep grabbing some until we find one that wants to flow for us. Oh, there we go. All right, so you don't need a lot of glue. It's really dot, dot, not a lot, which is great because seriously, this one is almost empty. Okay, so it's not a lot of glue, and I just want to not put it on upside down. And I'm going to eyeball it. This piece goes all the way edge to edge, so that makes it really easy to get on there straight. And there you go. There is your second card. So this is right after inking the stamp pad, and this is a little more subtle. Both of them are gorgeous and stunning and all done. They're all done for you. So thank you very much. If you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to be yours. You can find me at ourcraftyplaydate.com, and I do have the catalogs listed there, and you can click on it there. I will link the items below so that you can see exactly what we used, so you can order it if you so choose. And I would love if you would subscribe. So be sure that you click the subscribe button now, and if you hit that little bell also, every time I post a new video, you'll get a notification so you can start watching it right away. Thank you so much for stopping by. Have a great day. Bye-bye.